guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and join the beauty family. So today's glam, honey, this is our Valentine's Day glam. This is our beautiful date night glam. So if you'd like to see how I achieve this look from start to finish, keep watching. Alrighty, beauties, so let's get into this Valentine's Day glam, or just date nights for the month of February, the month of love. So let's get into it. I'm featuring one new product, okay? We love our good sis Danessa. So I love these. These are her Color Fix sparklers. So they're like the foils. You can put them on top of your lid. And I got the color Flare, so this is kind of essentially what it looks like. So I'm excited to use her, but we need to start with a base. I'm going to go into my Huda Beauty Matte Obsessions palette. You know, this is essentially my go-to, and we're going into these two shades because we need a base, honey, for these luscious colors to sit on top of. Alrighty, so I'm going into those two shades and I'm applying that into my crease. So yes, beauties, what are the plans? I know someone said that they were going to Disney World. I haven't been there in forever. I think honestly since I was like 10. I love Universal. Universal was fun. I believe the castle was closed when I went. So I didn't really have like the best of time. And I just really don't have an incentive to go back. Not my cup of tea, and I don't do like Six Flags and those things, honey. I don't do roller coasters. We are not a thrill seeker. Those are activities where you need your wig sewn down, so I don't do those, okay? And I don't do heights anyway, so I'm not missing anything. If you do catch me at a Six Flags, honey, I'm there for the food, okay? I am there for the food. But yes, beauties, I was supposed to go out this weekend. I was supposed to go to this like karaoke mingling event with one of my old co-workers. However, the weather was nasty, okay, and I don't really like to go out when it's nasty. Cold is one thing, but rain and snow is another. So yes, we ended up not going. So we're just going to reschedule to go out the following week. So I will also be filming that glam. And yes, beauties, my apologies for the late upload, honey. A lady has been working, okay? These past few weeks I've been so busy. By the time I've gotten home from work, just pure exhaustion. But as always, you guys are always so patient and loyal. I appreciate you. I promise we would get back on track. Because I always appreciate the patience and the fact that, you know, you guys understand. There are no breaks. There are no breaks. It's just running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I'm going into that darker brown shade, and we are just smoking out that outer V. We're just going to create a little depth. So we're going to do a little smoky because the Danessa shadow is going to be the star of the show. You know what? I think I might do a video with featuring like all black owned. I'm going to compile my list and do a look. So I'm just continuing to blend this out and smoke out the outer V, and then I'm just going to go back in with that same brush that I use to blend everything together so it looks seamless. So I'm going right back in with that brush I used in my crease, back with the brush that I used to smoke out my outer V. I just want to make sure that we don't lose that. Back in with that brush just to blend out those edges, and now we can go in for the star of the show. So yes, beauties, are there any traditions? Like for me, Valentine's Day is always a tradition with me. I always love to go with my girl and have a good time, honey. We get dressed up and we go eat. This is what it looks like. Oh, this is gonna be so gorgeous. It looks like it could be similar to what was in her shadow palette, but we'll see. This is how she looks. I am so excited. Just gonna go in with a brush. This is how it looks after I spread it out. It's always gonna pick up different on camera than it is on the eyelid, but oh my gosh, this really does look like one of her shadows. Oh, this is so gorgeous. I think I'm gonna go in with one more shade of shadow in the crease just to add a little something. Putting this, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And I will say it's best to work quickly with these shadows because they do tend to dry down quickly. So you just want to make sure that you're moving quick. this is what it's looking like. It looks so pretty, and we're gonna do this to the opposite side, of course. Alrighty, so I'm just going to set this product with my MAC shadow. This is the Dazzle shadow in Slow Fast Slow. I definitely forgot I put concealer in my eyes. I would say apply this directly on your lid without any concealer because the two products are going to interact, honey, and the conversation may not be for the best. So I'm gonna pop this right on top since it's in the same family. So I'm gonna use the same brush that I used to apply the liquid shadow, and I'm just going to use the opposite side. And I'm just going to pop this right on top just to give it an extra pop and just to set it. Generally you wouldn't need to, but because I had the concealer underneath, this is just to reinforce it. Definitely going to use this again, and I will use this without the concealer on my lid so you all could see how it looks, because it is gorgeous. I'm just going right on the top, and I'm just blending out the edges of Slow Fast Slow in that shadow from Danessa, just so that it's seamless. But I do want to add a little pinch of something just to break this up. So I'm going to dive into my Beauty Bay Reckless Romance palette. If you've not seen my review on this palette, please do so. I love a good old nasty Beauty Bay palette, okay? They make some beautiful shadows. So I think I'm going to dive into maybe a little bit of Front Row and Muse. Just gonna add like a pinch of each. So multi-purpose, honey, I'm going in with that same brush, and I'm going into Muse, and I think I'm just gonna add a little bit of that. This is right in the front, just to break it up, just to add a little pinch of color. And then I'm gonna go in with this pencil brush, Front Row, and I'm just gonna add that right on top of those shadows in the crease, just to add a little pinch of something different. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out, but I just wanted to add just a little something. Oh my gosh, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it is raining in New York. It is really intense. Really, really intense. Hence why a lady was in the house, okay? Because I do not like nasty weather. Pinch of Front Row. On the outer skirts, just to blend it in with that darker brown. This is essentially the eye look. So let's pop on an old nasty lash. Alrighty, so now that the lash is on, honey, I've already primed. I used my One Side Cure the Blur Primer Balm, and now I am going in with the One Size. This is the Turn Up the Base Full Beat Foundation, and this is in the shade Dark Deep 25 Neutral. So we're going to use this to create a flawless canvas. We're going in with 2 pumps, and I'm just going to apply this all over. So this is essentially what the face is going to look like. So I'm going to go in with 2 concealers. So I'm going with my Danessa Myrex. This is the Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer in the shade 14. And my Natasha Denona. This is in the shade NY12. So we're going to start off with the Danessa. So this shade is much closer to my skin complexion. So whenever I go in with a brighter concealer, I always like to put a base that is closer to my complexion. The only one that I don't do that with is my Urban Decay, because it's so full coverage that it just cancels out any darkness. Generally, if you go right in with a brighter concealer, you're going to have a great cast. So we're using this to essentially create an even canvas, even though I don't have dark circles. And then we're going in with this one for just a pinch more brightness. I'm just gonna go in with my brush. Y'all know I've been like loving using a brush lately, and then we're just going to start blending that out. I really want to allow it to dry down, just so we can reduce the amount of creasing. Now, I will say, because a lady has fine lines, it is inevitable. However, we can reduce. So this looks really good. We're just going to give it a minute to dry down. And then we're going to add the Natasha Denona concealer on top. We just want everything to blend together flawlessly. So let's just give this a minute or two. Alrighty, now that that has dried down a smidge, let's go in with the Natasha Denona concealer. This concealer is bomb if you have not tried it. So we're just going to add her right on top. She's just going to give us a little bit more brightness. We're just going to let her hang out for a few. So now we're going to go in and contour, honey, because we need to snatch these cheekbones. So I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in Espresso. I'm going to go a little bit higher, of course. And I'm going to get my forehead and my jawbone. And we're going to blend this out. Just going to go ahead and blend out the jawbone first. If you feel like it's too intense, you can always go right back over it with your foundation brush. So I'm just going to get my forehead. That. It's snatched, okay? I live for this. Now we're going to go ahead and blend out this concealer. I'm just going in with the same brush that I used to blend out the Danessa concealer. I'm just going to go right back in with the same brush that I used to blend out my contour, just to fuse those two shades together essentially. I don't want it to look like separation, so I just want it to look seamless. So I'm just going to let this dry down just for a little bit longer and then go back in and blend, and then we get set. Alrighty, so this is dried down. So we're just going to go right in and just make sure all the creases are blended in. As we can see, there is no creasing. Everything's blended out, everything dried down. It really depends on the concealer that you use, also depending on how much you use as well, and really just taking your time. This isn't really a process that you could rush, okay? Unless you have no fine lines, you can rush all you want, but if you do, you gotta take your time. So for setting powder, we are going in with my Huda Beauty loose setting powder in Peach Pie. Love her. So I added some of that powder on my puff, and I always make sure to tap off the excess on the back of my hand. We're just going to go right in and press her in, honey. You're just going to set this concealer, and I still go back in with the powder that I leave on the back of my hand. I always make sure that I just set my smile lines with whatever excess I have on the back of my hand, just to make sure that nothing settles in. So now that that is set, I'm going to go in with my Sephora Micro Smooth Powder in 65 Toffee. Honey, you're about to hit pan. Do you see that right there? Oh my goodness. So we're gonna add this on top, and then we're gonna go in with the foundation powder as well. So this is just to lightly set. So now that we're done with that powder, now we're going in with my Fenty Beauty. Excuse the case, honey, because I set my lashes on here. But this is the Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Powder Foundation, and this is in the shade 410. I'm usually 420, but 420 in this powder runs a little deep, so we went with 410. So I just use this for some additional flawlessness, and also just to tie the whole look together. So this is how she is looking. Now we need to bronze. So for bronzer, I am going in with the NYX. This is the Buttermelt bronzer in the shade Do Butter. That's cute. So this is what the bronzer looks like. So we're going to use her to snatch these cheekbones. I'm actually going to go in with the same brush that I use to blend out my cream contour. And we're just going to start to bronze, okay? You want to make sure to get the forehead and the cheekbones. Now I like a lot of bronzer, so I just go back in with the brush that I use to apply my foundation powder, just to make sure it is seamless. So now we have to add some blush. Since the eyes are pink, I am going with the Makeup by Mario. This is the soft powder blush in Poppy Pink. She is cute, so we're going to apply her on the cheekbones. I know everybody applies their blush differently, but I'm old school, so I always apply it to the apple and I bring it up. Sometimes I do add a little extra only because sometimes blush fades a little. As I said, we're gonna get it together with using the cream and powder blush duo. We're going to get there. So now we applied the blush. So now we're going to go and set our under eye. So I'm going with my Charlotte Tilbury Air Blush Flawless Powder. So she is the finishing touch, okay? I always recommend setting your under eye with a pressed powder. So I know everybody does the routine differently. Some people apply the press first and the loose after. I prefer going in with the loose first and then applying the press after, because this is just really going to be the finishing touch. So I go in, I don't press the excess, but I just go in and press this right in to where I already applied my setting powder. So I know also some people might have flashback, so going in with the pressed powder does help to blend everything together seamlessly, and that's what we want. So this is how it looks. I'm just going to add a little bit more blush, whatever was on my brush, just gonna pop that right back on top. So this is how the face is looking. We are snatched. So I just need to smoke out my lash line, and then I'll be back for a lip and some highlight. Alrighty, beauties, so we are back. So let's get started with this lip. So I'm going to go in with 2 lip liners. So first I'm going to start off with Chestnut by MAC, because you know, of course, we have to have a brown liner to start off this lip. Hopefully you can hear me a little better. My apologies, my microphone was under something. So we started off with Chestnut liner, and now we are going in with Charlotte Tilbury's liner in Hollywood Honey. We just want to add a smidge of her. Just a smidge right on top. So for lips, honey, we are going in with Cream Cup by MAC. Love this lip color. Now for gloss, we are going to go in with Revlon's in Sky Pink. This is the shade 207. So we are just going to pop her right on top. This is like one of those milky pink glosses. I love these shades. So beauties, this is what the glam looks like. Thank you all for tuning into this Valentine's Day glam, date night glam. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below if you have any of these products or you plan to pick them up. Of course, they will be linked for you down below. Don't forget to shop from the links, honey, to support your girl's channel. And as always, beauties, thank you so much for your patience, your love, and support. And I will catch you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Until next time.